Hey everyone, welcome to one more pen. Got something different today. It's another one of those cheapy pens that I'll be doing a first impression on. I haven't inked it up yet, so I'm going to try it out. Cosmo is here with me. Say hello, Cosmo. And he's going to do his own thing while we do our thing, hopefully. So I'm juggling a lot of things here. So I'm going to have a look at this one. Now, it looks like a really cheap pen, and it is a really cheap pen. I've got a friend traveling quite a bit in Africa, and he picks up these pens in Kenya and other countries, and etc. I don't know what this one actually cost, but I reckon it's probably around $1 US, certainly not more than $2 US. I've bought quite a few of these kinds of pens myself. They're usually in the $1 price range. And so let me just tell you a little bit about the pen situation in South Africa, where I am. We don't have a lot of specialty pen stores where we can buy really nice fountain pens. You can buy them, but it's not like there's not a lot of brick and mortar stores where you can walk in, browse around, etc. We have a few stationery stores where you find some of the more well-known brands, so for example, Parker, Schaefer, Cross, you find Lamy, we'll find at some bookstores, we'll find them. And I have seen Kaweco very rarely, but I've seen some Kaweco, and I can't think, Pilot, yes, Pilot Metropolitans, but there's a lot of pens that we don't see in the stores. And so usually we order online, and you find a specialty store that works like that. And these kinds of pens, these really cheap ones, I've got another one here that I'll do another time. We just don't have these in South Africa. You don't find them anywhere. And the great thing about these pens is they are so cheap, and it makes them accessible to everyone everywhere. And I really like that idea, because it means that children can try out fountain pens and write with fountain pens again. I grew up writing with fountain pens in school. We had to, and it was great. It was really great. Nowadays, kids don't have any idea about fountain pens, and don't know what they're missing. So I think having these kinds of really cheap options available is really great. It's great for fountain pens, and it's great for us too. So this one has a very interesting nib, and I can't wait to try this one out. And I'm looking for an ink. I don't have any yellow ink, so probably go with something orange. Always try to match my ink with my pen. You don't really have to do that, but I don't know. I'm going to try and do that anyway. So I'm going to look for a nice orangey ink. I have too many pens inked up with red already, so I'm not going to do that. But okay, I think let's have a closer look at this one. We'll, it's not going to be a long video, but we'll have a quick look, and I'm going to ink it up, and we'll see. It's got a converter. It's got a converter, people. How do you get a converter for a $1 pen when we can easily pay, when I've paid $10 US for a converter? If it's a Schaefer, expensive. Cross, I can't even find them at all. They're just not available. Parker, also not cheap at all. I mean, the little Kaweco converters, the tiny ones, the mini converters, what do they go for? I reckon around $5 US, probably. So how do you get a $1 pen with a converter? Can converters really be that expensive? Why don't we get converters with our pens? Anyway, that's probably a whole other thing. But a $1 pen with a converter, the converter alone, I think, is worth that money, because even if the pen doesn't write, I'm going to use the converter over and over in all of my other pens, wherever it fits anyway. So anyway, enough talk. Let's take a closer look. Right, let's take a closer look at this. The brand is M&G. I should probably do some research on this brand. I've actually got quite a few of these cheaper pens from M&G. and I don't know much about the brand. So, but anyways, on the barrel it says M&G Happy Every Day. Nice. Oh, okay. So, you know, this pen is obviously, you know, it's very, very colorful. So it's made for a younger audience, probably. Plastic barrel, plastic section. Interestingly, the cap doesn't fit over the section like most pens. It's really just the nib that it covers. Transparent, tiny little cap with a little clip, which will probably do the job until it breaks. I don't think this would last forever, but it's okay for now. Right. On the top of the pen, it just says M&G. A little plastic finial there. Right, let's have a closer look at the very interesting nib. Have a look at that. A tiny, tiny little nib. And it's got a, I don't know if I would call that a logo. It's got a tiny little ring circle on the nib. And that's about it. Unscrew the barrel. We have a converter, which is it's not permanently fitted into the section, which sometimes you do find. So it's just a, there we go, just a very basic converter. And as cheap as these things are, I can tell you they work really great. Not a huge capacity, but it's enough. Perfect. It's all we need. Right, so I need an ink for this, and I'm going to do a quick writing sample. We'll see if this pen writes and how well it writes. And I was looking for an orange ink, and I found something. I found Iroshizuku Yu-Yake, and this is a lovely ink. One of the first, I think this is the first Iroshizuku ink that I bought. Nothing more beautiful than that. Right, let's just get to it. And I'm just going to dunk it in. I'm not going to fill it completely. I'll just get enough for us to do a writing sample. I can see that it's there's ink in the section, so I'm not going to fill it more than that. I will see this is an expensive ink. I'm not going to fill the pen all the way unless I know I'm going to be writing with this. I'll just wipe off the excess there. And I'm repurposing some rodeo paper as well. Right, there we go. And shall we just do a writing sample? This is M&G, I don't know what else to call it, fountain pen. What would be the nib size on this? I think is probably medium. It could be fine. Very often with these cheaper pens it's a fine, but it feels to me like it could be a medium. Wetness is actually fairly decent. So the nib is functional, it works, it writes, it's not scratchy. I think it's going to keep up with any kind of writing. No problem at all. So, like so many of these cheap pens, I'm just pleasantly surprised. This is actually a very nice, smooth nib. It's not scratchy at all. It's got a tiny little bit of feedback, but the feedback is, it's pleasant, it's appropriate. The section is actually very comfortable. It flares out a little bit towards the end there, so it does stop your fingers from slipping over the edge of the section. So actually very nice. Is this the kind of pen that I would do some marathon writing with? I don't know. Actually, I can't see any reason why not, because there's nothing about this pen that's uncomfortable. It's perfectly fine. I don't even want to try. No, we can try line variation, a little bit of pressure. Oh no, I don't think, not at all. This is a very stiff nib, yet still very, very comfortable. Just a tiny bit of feedback. Even if I tilt the nib somewhat, it writes quite well. It doesn't get scratchy. So all in all, this is pretty good. This is for a $1 pen. I'm quite impressed. It not only writes, but it writes very well. I don't want to compare this with other pens, but I want to say almost the feel of the nib is, on the paper, it reminds me a lot of Pilot Metropolitan. I think the Metropolitan perhaps a little bit smoother and a little wetter, but this is perfectly fine. So if you want to get kids into writing with fountain pens, this is an excellent option. And if you just want to play around with fountain pens, it's great fun too. It's a nice fun pen, and the converter is just such a bonus. So there we go. That is the MG, and I've got no idea if there's what we would call this model. Let's call it the M&G Happy Pen. Really impressive, everyone, for this price point. And I've got some more cheap pens that I want to review very soon, so keep an eye out for that. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. I always appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.